So today we'll be making French onion soup. You may want to pause here to look at the ingredients and the preparation methods. So today we'll be making French onion soup, and we will have the soup with some bread. Let's have a look at the ingredients. We'll have 2 medium to large size onions. Traditionally this soup is made with French onions, but today I only have red onions. A tablespoon and a half of all-purpose flour. This is for thickening the soup. 2 cloves, 1 bay leaf, salt and pepper, and we'll be cooking the onions in olive oil. And of course today I also have a baguette that I've just bought. We're going to slice some slices out of this, put some butter and put this in the oven, and we will have the soup with buttered baguette. So what we'll do is we'll cut up the onions and then we can start cooking the soup. So I've taken a small pot and we'll heat up the pot to dry up the pot. So once the pot is a little heated up, we will pour in about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. You can use any other vegetable oil, not a problem. We don't want the oil to get too hot, and we'll just put in the onions. The onions needs to be thinly sliced. And we'll need to cook the onions in a very slow flame until it becomes soft. We must prevent the onions from burning. At the same time, we will put a bit of salt to the onions, because the salt actually helps the onions release the water, which will make the onions cook faster. We'll give it a good stir, and we'll cook this in a slow flame until the onions are fully wilted and soft. Okay, we'll cook this for a few minutes and we'll come back and have a look at it. So after a few minutes of cooking, the onions have started to wilt and become almost transparent. We need to keep cooking this until the onions becomes really soft, almost breaking down. So let's give this a few more minutes and continue to stir so we don't burn the onions. And we'll come back and have a look at it in a few minutes. So this is after almost 10 minutes of slow cooking. You can see like the onions have almost broken down. We'll cook this for a few more minutes to make it even softer. We just need to make sure that none of the onions actually burn. So cook it in a very slow flame. So after a few more minutes of cooking, you can see like the onions has almost gone super translucent and a little brown. And it's really soft right now. So now what we want to do is to add our 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of flour to make a roux. I think that's about 1.5 tablespoons. Now we'll cook the flour so that it will get rid of the raw taste of the flour. Remember that there's actually oil in here, so the oil with the heat will almost roast the flour to give it a bit of a nutty flavor. Probably add a little bit more flour. because we have a lot of onions. It might seem a bit dry, but don't worry about it. This is how French onion soup is made. We have to cook this on a slow flame until the flour gets cooked or toasted, and we'll get a very nice nutty flavor soup. Okay, so we'll continue to stir this and make sure it doesn't burn on a very low flame, and we'll come back to it. Now at the same time, I have cut up some pieces of my baguette and buttered it. And if your butter is not salted, just put a bit of salt on top. We'll put this into the oven to toast it. So after a few more minutes of frying, you can begin to see like the flour has gone stuck to the bottom of the pot. That's all very normal. That's the process of making French onion soup. We'll continue to stir this until it becomes really soft before we add 2 cups of water to make the soup. So we'll continue to stir this. The flour that is getting stuck to the bottom is being toasted, so we just like slowly scrape this thing off. And of course later when we add the water, all of these bits will become the really good flavor in the soup. So we've come to a stage where the onions almost have become a paste, and this is a good time to just finish scraping the bottom, and we'll add our 2 cups of water. Beautifully caramelized. The roux or the flour is nicely toasted. Now we'll add in our 2 bowls of water. And we'll stir this to dissolve the flour. And we'll get the bits at the bottom out as well. Now the soup will now begin to thicken because of the flour that we've added. Gently. Now is a good time to add in our bay leaf and our 2 cloves. We'll bring this to a very gentle simmer. Once it starts simmering, we'll turn down the heat and let it cook for about 10 minutes so that the onions will release its flavors into the water. As you can see, the soup is now also very thick. As we cook it down, it will form a very nice, thick and rich soup. So we'll let it cook and we'll come back to it. So the soup has been gently simmering for 4 or 5 minutes. Now is a good time to season the soup. Season to taste, so put enough of salt. And just a pinch of black pepper. We don't want it to be too overpowering. Just stir this in. Now at this time you can taste the soup and make sure you have enough of seasoning. Right now it's boiling in a very low flame. And we'll gently cook this for another 5 to 10 minutes before we serve it. So we'll come back to it. So our French onion soup has been simmering for the next 5-10 minutes now. Now it looks like it's ready. The onions have almost completely broken down. The soup is very thick and it's seasoned nicely. Now what we're going to do right now is to remove the bay leaf and the cloves that we've put in, so that we don't, although I don't mind, we don't want to bite into a piece of clove. And done, we'll turn off the flame and we'll serve up. And so we have it. This is our French onion soup, served with buttered toasted baguettes. And this is a very nice soup to have on a rainy day like today, as you can hear the rain pouring outside. So you can try this recipe and enjoy.